Welcome back, everyone. At this point, I don't think anyone knows what will happen between Russell Westbrook and the Lakers. One day it appears that they are running it back, but then the next day it appears that they may have found a trade for him. And unfortunately, I don't see that changing for a while yet either. Even though it feels like the Lakers haven't played in forever, the NBA offseason has really just begun. We are only 1 month in, and we have a long way to go before training camp, so get ready for a lot more rumors. And although you can typically ignore a majority of the trade rumors relating to the Lakers, we do occasionally get one that actually makes sense. And that is what we got during the past 24 hours. No, it may not be a trade that is currently being negotiated, nor could it right now either, but it is one that has the potential to eventually happen. The trade I'm referring to would involve Julius Randle, Donovan Mitchell, and of course, the Lakers' very own Russell Westbrook, all of which could be flipped in a potential blockbuster trade according to Mark Stein. And when I say that it makes sense, I'm really referring to the financial aspect here, as it would theoretically work money-wise and would help the Lakers to offload Westbrook. Along with that though, we have more news involving a different former Laker, with that being Dennis Schroder. We will talk about all of that in today's video and try to paint a clear picture on what's going on right now. And if you have been enjoying the everyday uploads, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to get updated right away when I drop a new video. But without further ado, let's dive right into it, and we'll begin with the Dennis Schroder rumors, which were completely fueled by him alone. Earlier today, LeBron James commented on a post made by Dennis Schroder on Instagram, and then Schroder replied to him, "Mike gotta run it back." And I'm not really sure if he was asking a question or making a statement here, but regardless, there's really no reading in between the lines. Schroder currently remains a free agent, and I imagine he would take almost any offer given to him at this point. We all remember him turning down the 4-year, $84 million contract that the Lakers offered him, which eventually led to him signing a 1-year, $5.9 million contract with Boston, but he does not appear to be unwilling to return. If I'm being honest here though, that's not really the part that caught me off guard. The most surprising part about this to me is with LeBron even replying to him on social media. They did not appear to end on good terms, and there were even rumors that Schroder was not well liked within their locker room. But I guess having Russell Westbrook on your team makes Dennis Schroder look a whole lot better, and it might not be crazy to believe that a reunion could eventually happen. I mean, Dennis appears to be down for it anyways, and if the Lakers find a way to offload Westbrook while not getting a point guard in return while doing it, then Dennis Schroder would become a good option. And like we talked about during my last video, that could be a possibility in a trade with San Antonio. They currently have over $30 million in remaining cap room and would appear to be a team that might be willing to take on Russ. After all, they have been linked as a trade partner on multiple different occasions now, and if the Lakers have Schroder as a backup plan at point guard, it might not be a bad idea. A trade with the Spurs would likely involve Doug McDermott and Josh Richardson, then with Westbrook and a future first-round draft pick going to San Antonio, which again could theoretically create an opportunity for Schroder. He would need to be willing to take a minimum contract, but the role they could offer him would be quite large, because after trading Westbrook, the only point guard they'd have would be Kendrick Nunn, and while you could definitely count LeBron here as well, they do need a true point guard for when he's on the bench. And if their interest in Schroder at the trade deadline was real, then I cannot imagine they would think twice about bringing him back now either. He would be a luxury to have for a minimum contract, and has already proven to be a better fit compared to Russ. I mean, in reality, they would not even have to trade Russ to add Schroder if they didn't want to. They do have an open spot on their roster, and could bring him in without trading anyone. Although, I don't find that likely to happen unless they would pay Russ not to play, which I really doubt they would do. But hey, at this point, I guess you never really know. What do you guys think though? In what situation would you bring back Dennis Schroder? Would you outright sign him right now? Or would you only bring him back if Westbrook is traded? Comment your thoughts down below. Now let's move on to the Julius Randle rumor though. And like I referred to before, this one would occur through a 3 or maybe even 4-team trade involving the Utah Jazz and New York Knicks. What would need to happen first though would be the Utah Jazz agreeing to trade Donovan Mitchell to New York. Then following that, more teams could get involved to help things work financially. And one of those teams could be the Lakers, who, as we know, have been trying to find a way to trade Russell Westbrook. Unfortunately for them though, there are no teams who currently want him for what he brings on the court, although the expiring contract he owns could be very beneficial to a team looking to dump salary. And if they do agree to a trade for Donovan Mitchell, that team could very well become the New York Knicks, because at that point, I cannot imagine they would want to keep Julius Randle, and they would likely look to trade him. Much like the Lakers with Westbrook though, there are very few, if any, teams who would want him. He may not be making as much money compared to Westbrook this year, but he is under contract for 3 additional years. And while the Lakers may not love the idea of taking on that contract, it would help them to offload Russ, and likely without having to give up any draft picks. In fact, you can argue that the Knicks might have to give them a draft pick to take on Randle. I know the narrative is that Westbrook has the worst contract in the league, but in reality, Randle's contract is much worse compared to his. Again, I'm not sure the Lakers would want to trade for him, but he would at least be a slightly better fit compared to Russ. And if Randle is their only option to trade Russ without giving up a first-round draft pick, then maybe they would think about doing it. After all, he is only 27 years old and has played with Anthony Davis before too. No, he is definitely not the perfect fit with him, but he does have prior experience on the court with him. Along with Randle though, they could potentially get Bojan Bogdanovic, Mike Conley, Evan Fournier, or maybe even Malik Beasley here too. Them doing that would help the trade work financially, and the Lakers could add more depth while doing it. My choice would have to be Bojan Bogdanovic here though. In terms of filling a need for them, he would be perfect. A 3-point sharpshooter who can be their third option on offense, and one who is on an expiring contract too. Because if they would be willing to take on Julius Randle, they definitely want every other player they acquire to be on a short-term deal, and Bojan Bogdanovic would fit that criterion. Then throw in Utah getting Cam Reddish, along with 4 or maybe even 5 first-round picks from New York, and you can argue that this trade would benefit all parties. Now, I would definitely prefer the Lakers to investigate a trade with San Antonio, Indiana, or a straight-up trade with Utah before doing this one, but they should be willing to listen to every available offer. With all of that being said though, that will conclude my thoughts on the rumors regarding Dennis Schroder and Julius Randle. And what do you guys think? Would you be interested in either of them through the methods I showed? Let me know your thoughts by commenting down below and we can talk about it there. That will do it for this video though. Big thank you to those of you who took the time to watch until the end of this video, and until the end of all of my videos in general. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and turn on notifications to get notified right away when I drop a new video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.